We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin. Over the past few days, we have seen a remarkable number of people denying responsibilities for their actions. It is absolutely appalling that they are simply denying what everybody has seen. In fact, in many cases, on video. Let's start with Alec Baldwin. Baldwin is responsible for the death of cinematographer Halma Hutchins. Now, I'm not saying this was premeditated or even that it was murder. Baldwin held the gun, pulled back the hammer, and let it go while pointing the gun at her. Forgetting about whether or not this meets a legal definition of reckless endangerment, manslaughter, or any other charge, morally and factually, he is responsible. Anyone with even a passing familiarity with gun safety knows this. You do not point a gun at someone unless you plan to shoot. Cocking the hammer back and releasing it is the same as pulling the trigger. Baldwin claims to be completely ignorant of that fact in his interview with George Stephanopoulos. He claims he is not responsible because he did not pull the trigger. Although he does admit to pulling back the hammer and letting it go, which is the same thing. He is going about his life appearing as MC at an event in New York this week. He has stated he has no remorse, according to his own interview. While he claims to have assurances that he will not be charged, the Santa Fe District Attorney has said charges are not off the table. It is absolutely incomprehensible how, even if there is no legal responsibility, he does not feel an ounce of guilt. And of course, he's not the only actor to be claiming to be innocent this week. Jussie Smolett took the stand in his trial for faking a hate crime. He still claims to be the victim, despite video footage of him practicing for the incident. A check written by him to the people he hired to attack him, and the testimony of his accomplices. He continued his lie on the stand, which can get him a perjury charge. Now, I may not be a master criminal, but even I know not to write a personal check to pay for fraud if I expect to get away with it. You don't practice the hoax in front of a camera. Though, given that Smolett is an actor, maybe he can't resist being on camera. Even his original story had more holes in it than a piece of Swiss cheese. He was out at 2 a.m. in near 0-degree temperatures to go to Subway for a sandwich when he was attacked by 2 African-American Trump supporters. The police didn't believe his story and performed a complete investigation, which is how they found the fraud. Now, the media is suspect in all of this, because they're not just not covering all of the truth, they're involved in cover-ups. Case in point, Chris Cuomo didn't just lie about helping his brother, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, get out from under his harassment accusations. Now it seems he's guilty of the same crimes. Again, in his statements, neither he nor Andrew has shown any remorse for their actions. They continue to lie despite mounting evidence from multiple sources, including the Attorney General's investigation and a separate CNN investigation by an independent law firm. Now, Andrew Cuomo isn't just guilty of harassment. He's also responsible for the deaths of hundreds of elderly New Yorkers who he ordered moved into nursing homes during COVID, rather than use the Javits Center or hospital ship that had been set up to handle the crisis. He couldn't accept help from the federal government because that would ruin his anti-Trump narrative. He put his constituents' lives at risk in order to get a book deal and boost his career. Fortunately, it looks like his political career is over. Hopefully, Chris Cuomo's broadcast career will follow. He has been fired by CNN, and he has left his Sirius XM radio show, although it has not been determined if he left voluntarily or if it was the idea of Sirius XM. Chris Cuomo used his media contacts to investigate Andrew's accusers and used his position at CNN to try to cover up the truth. Now, Cuomo has never been a bastion of journalistic integrity, but CNN needs to see, wait a minute, we need to have at least minimal integrity here. And Cuomo covering up and working with his brother. We now found out during the Smolett testimony that Don Lemon was working with Jussie Smollett to tip him off. So the idea that the media is the fourth estate out for the truth certainly seems not to have applied to CNN. The constant denials of wrongdoing, backed up by a corrupt and inept liberal media machine, has given these people a false sense of security. They believe they are above the law, and they hold the American people in contempt. Well, we need to stand up to the media that has been supporting these disgusting actions. Stop watching the TV shows and movies that they're in. Stop listening to them in interviews. They need to understand that there are consequences to their actions. At the very least, their careers need to end. Even better is a jury verdict of guilty against Smolett and charges brought against the others for their actions. That's the raw naked truth. You can catch us every episode as well as the rest of the Xvadio podcast network at xvadio.com/podcasts. You can also find us on the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you next time.